Hello class, Information 5000. This lecture is about how to make information policies and procedures in context of collection development in school library. I just wanted to let you know that this lecture was delivered to my previous class, which was the school media track, people in school media track. So I used the book, the school collection development for school library, written by Dr. Bishop. So this lecture, as you hear, they are focusing on the school library collection development. But still, you can view, you can learn how the information policy can be made and what kind of procedures that you have to follow. So you can apply this to other context when you need to make information policy, and also how if you want to see the procedure of it. I didn't record. We record the rest of the slides, so you'd hear called the different class numbers. I hope you would mind. Okay, I hope you enjoy the lecture.
So, what is policy and procedure? Policy statements and procedure statements guide the um, activities of the collection program and tell why the collection exists. So they state goals in general terms, allowing for some change and flexibilities. So the policies establish the basis for all the collection activities by identifying who will use the collection and what will be in the collection. And of course, they need to be um, in place before procedures are developed. Um, we'll be talking more detail in policy and the procedure statements later, but the people call the policies like collection policy or selection policy and also materials policy. So what's procedure statement? That's direct the implementation of policies. So they should be very concrete manner, and it should explain what, how, and when the policy should be processed. So they address the task or processes for attaining the policy goal. So the procedure statements explain how policies will be put into practice and identify the people responsible for their implementation. And so procedures are specific and should be reviewed and updated on a regular basis, right? Let me see. In your textbook provides us what's the difference between policy and procedures. Policies like who is responsible for the collection. The procedure would be describe the steps for maintaining the collection. So explain and the process in order to make the policy right. Okay. So why these policies and procedures are needed in a library? As you can see, as you all know, libraries without collection development policies are like business without business plan. Um, when I worked at the company for 10 years, the first thing that I did was to read the manual of my department. And for a long time, whenever I have new people under me, I let uh, the people read what is the manual of the department. That should be the first thing that the new person should read. That's like a guide of the work for a new people. That guideline also can be used for the previous, I mean the current step member too. And that guide can be also used for the customers, for instance, the users. Mm. We will be discussing about a lot of different types of format in the later of this course. But when I work at the library, and every day we had so many gifts from the library users. Some people provided us their old books like encyclopedias, or some people donated money, or some people donated some collections that he or she used to have for a long time. I first time I thought, oh, this is great. It's because there was a gift. We just can accept all those gifts and make them become make them make our the collections. But there was my thought, and I was told that there is a library policy about the gift, and there's certain item that we won't accept and we should reject. As I was surprised to know that, but that's right. They should be written in your library in order to protect you as library staff, and also the in order to make you say to your patrons in reasonable way to say no. So the I mean the policy should be uh, located in your policy statement in a written format, and it guides you as a STEM member, and also it guides your public users, your library users. So, even a library with written policy statements also suffers if those statements are not consulted, reviewed, revised, and updated regularly. So this is very important. The policy statements should be updated very regularly, and it has to be some rooms to adjust. And because the mission and objective goals can be changed according to the social change and social movement, or the currency of the social timing, that policy should be also changed to meet your library goal. And collection development policies are also called selection policies, collection statements, or collection development plan. So let's take a look um, the purposes and audience of the collection policies and procedures. The many purposes collection policies serve can be divided into two broad categories. One is to inform, the other is to protect. the audience to whom the policy is directed must also be considered when creating a policy. So these three the information, to inform, to protect, and consider about the audience should be the main focus of the policies and procedures. So let's take a look what is the information as one of the categories of policy, and then what can be protect, what can be what kind of protection can be made by the policy. Okay, the collection development policy statements inform by first presenting the library's mission and then describing current collection in terms of strengths and weakness, and also setting future goals. By identifying future collection levels, policies provide some sort of the benchmark against which to measure success in reaching those levels. So in order to match the collections to the mission, policies can guarantee that the collection being developed serves the educational and also the entertainment and the research mission of the parents institution or a community. So a policy provides a theoretical overview also that can explain all those the main rationale for the development of the collection. And also collection policies provide the information needed to establish priority for the library. So priority for collection development and management are on obvious result, and it's without without the written policy about the priority, will be very difficult to decide which one goes first, which one goes to the next step. It all depends on your library's mission and your library's selection decision, and to meet the mission of the library. And also, the policy inform who is responsible for the collection development and management. And they also the decision about cataloging, about the conversion, like retrospective conversion, also the space allocation, also the budgeting, right? That's important, and also the fundraising priorities. So they can guide those individual responsible for managing personnel, physical resources, space, and also other resources in support of the collection. So by making these collection priorities, the policy statements can guide the libraries in establishing stepping needs and allocating available personnel. And if your the policy statements serve a sport, if they have important function to the to support a cooperative collection, then the policy statement should be clearly identify all current cooperative programs where the library participates, like the collection building, the resources sharing, also like where is the storage, like regional storage, also some the shared contribution, and also access to electronic resources, and so all those things should be included in the policy related to the all other cooperative programs. Okay. And also the other category of policy can be protect from many incidents which can be occurred in the library. The collection development policy statements protect the library against external pressures. The statement can serve to protect intellectual freedom and also prevent censorship. Many library statements repeat or provide or reference the library Bill of the Rights, right, and also other statements of intellectual freedom. Librarians, we should give care to this significant area, and especially right now there are so much public attention, right, focused on library access to the internet. So it's become more important issues that we need to aware of the library Bill of Rights and also other statements related to intellectual freedom. The policy may include the procedures for handling complaints against the material held by a library. So this does mean that a statement about censorship is totally negative. The policy can be written. That's why so that it affirms the library commitment to intellectual freedom. So it protects you and your library. And the process of creating a statement on the intellectual freedom provides library staff members with the time, the opportunity to think through these issues, and also it can make you clarify the position. So the response of a carefully prepared and board-approved policy won't decrease the like a challenge to a specific controversial title, but it does actually increase the challenge, the material. So when the library is challenged, we need to prepare to respond. The procedures and policies actually provide you how to guide, how to respond to them with the written the policy. For instance, many school media center collection policies they include a section that explained about the process for recasting, reconsideration of materials, and like steps in response to a reconsideration recast. So it guides and it protects you from the handling a complaints from the users, and also it protects accused of inconsistency in responding to the other challenges. So it's mm, and also the other thing is uh, to protect exclusion of certain materials. Uh, like as I mentioned before, you can guide handling of gifts. I mean the policy and procedure can be provide you a guide how to handle of the gifts, and charges of bias and irresponsible behavior when needed to weed, deselect, and cancel a series. So those act can be considered as kind of the negative to the sellers, I mean your vendors of the library and also the users, but uh, from based on the policy and procedure of the library, it protect you from the charges of bias and irresponsible behavior. Okay? And um, and also this time, I mean in current situation, decreasing our budget and also the increasing the material cost, the libraries need to protect, as we should we have to have those the like a canceling or with or deselect those this kind of act. But again, with this without policies procedures, you may not have good answers to your library vendors or other sellers, and for your users. Um, and also it can identify issues of confidentiality. With the policies and procedures, they can identify issues of confidentiality by specifying the types of information that are private. For example, you may not you can reveal your budget, also the cost, and also the value of material, also the donors. Those kind of those are the kind of private, and so your the policy can protect the library and its users. The I mean, not only for the users, but the if you are belong to some institution, the parents institution and the donors, they can protect the library users. The library collection development policy statements can serve many purposes, right? As we just saw, and also the policies and procedure statement. Those also serve many audiences, like the library staff and also the library users. And also or other libraries that can be part of the policies audience, and so the library's collection policy is actually usually designed for use by staff members. So the better the policy is, the more frequently it's consulted. So copies should be available for all library personnel, not just with those with like a selection responsibilities. Um, uh, as you know, many libraries post their policies on the library website, where everyone one can see and can be consulted easily by both staff and other stakeholders. Uh, and also, a library policy statement serve the the library users, and also if it's a school library media center, it can be include the student, teachers, and parents, and also the extra funding and governing bodies. Mm, it's the collection policies in some public libraries and schools. The collection policies may be official governing board policies, so they share the policies together. Many school systems and also the small public libraries, they share the policies together. And also uh, if the policy is intended to identify and develop cooperative collection development, then it must be shared with actual and potential partners too, right? So you need to consider who will be the audience of the policies and procedures. Okay. Okay, there are many purposes of policies and procedures. The first purpose is to ensure a degree of consistency. Right, that's very important. That work should be consistent. And also, the policies and procedures define the scope and coverage of the collection. And provide guidance in the selection, acquisition, processing, cataloging, evaluation, weeding, and maintenance of materials and equipment of the collection. And also the purposes of policies and procedures is it can impart information dealing with the circulation and promotion of the collection, and it creates a public relationship, the PR documents to inform the public of purposes of program and collection. Okay. And also it protects intellectual freedom, as we discussed, and it also acknowledges the rights of individual to ask for reconsideration of material. And also it ensures users access to material, including those on the internet. And also the copyright issue, that the policy and procedures promote fair use of copyrighted materials, and also it guides staff, assign the selection responsibility, and serve as a training tool for new staff or volunteers. It guides in handling complaints, and also it provides a means of assessing overall performance of the program. So how to make the policies, especially for the school media center. The policy statement should be created at both the district and building levels. Again, when we discussed about the collection, when we define about the collection of the library media center, it was very important to know that the school, the building, should consider about the upper levels of the system, which is like a district, because the collection, the relationship affects the collection. So the policies, it's the same. Policy statements should be created at both the district and building level, and it's helpful to examine statements from various sources. If you have to make a policy statement in your library, you need to research a lot, a tremendous amount of time you may require from research by yourself to no, from the knowing about your community first, and then to research about how other libraries are doing, about how they go about with the statement. A library advisory board can assist with development, approval, and implementation of both policies and procedures. The library board has a lot of power, especially for the public library. You need to get permission. You need to get the you need to have the approving process with the library trustees, library board. But it helps you to make those process possible, and because you need to ask them first, you need to listen to the opinion about your community. Each school has its own process for approving policies, of course, right? So you need to consult your school administrator to plan for the steps to obtain formal approval of your policies. Our textbook provides a very detailed process of policy formulation and also the revision. The figure in page 36, I believe, 37, provides a very good the, presentation about how it starts and how revise how it should be revised in order to meet the mission and the vision of the library. So the initial process, and then and also it talks about the deadline, like the set the date, how when the policy should be made, and then the draft policy should be completed. I think it's very easy to understand when you read the page 35 to 36. The author provide us like a number 1 through to number 17 process, the step. So it's very detailed. Let me see. So after you finished the first draft policy, and then you need to ask the governing body how does it looks, and then you need to get some feedback, and then after you reviewed, you need to revise your statement, and then implement the policy, and then disseminate the policy and the procedures, and then you need to evaluate the policy ongoing process periodically, and then you need to revise. Okay, it's easy to understand, right? Okay, how to write a policies and procedure manuals. It's it isn't. Let me see. Again, it's not easy to make a policy and procedure statement for even a small school media center, because you need to consider all sorts of things, all sorts of items that you need to consider. But in terms of the writing, the manual should be written in clearly state, and also it should be written in third person, and the proper names of persons shouldn't be included. It looks more professional if you don't provide the actual person's name. You can mention like the media specialist or the media clerk or the principal. Uh, and also, if you need to use the acronym, you need to spell out them first time when they are utilized. This is the same when you write a paper. You need to spell out if that's appeared in the first time in your paper. We Everyone knows about ALA, right? Because you are studying about the library science, so we assumed you know what's the ALA, but when you write a paper, you need to spell them out, especially for the first time that appeared. Okay, and the policy and procedures should be simple. The manual should be simple enough to be understood by a layperson or a new employee, and it should be clear. It should be accurate. You need to double check for accuracy, and also you need to consider citations for future reference. As I told you, citation has so many purposes. One purpose is to let the people to give let them people where is the from, where the sources come from, in order to provide them the access point. So the citation should be included, should be followed in the policy statement. Okay. So I think that's it, right? Okay. Okay. These are like suggested content in the manual. Mm. Let me see. We will be we will be surveying soon about other libraries policies. So you will see what kind of how these kind of content are listed on the manual. Let me see. So community and school analysis, of course, those are the first located about the, but again, this isn't like the right order. You can change, you can it doesn't have any order right now. It's just suggests the content of a manual, so the order shouldn't be better. Okay. So community and school analysis, and library philosophy and mission statement, library media center goals and objectives, description of programs and services, of course, right? And then personal job descriptions and formats collected, selection policies and procedures, acquisition, processing, and cataloging of materials and gifts, maintaining materials and equipment, inventory of materials, reading materials, circulation, collection evaluation, internet technology, including internet use policy, copyright and fair use of computers, and intellectual freedom. As you can see, everything related to your work should be included in the policies and the procedure statement. Okay. So, in order to efficiently develop and manage collection activities, policies and procedures need to be developed by the library or the school library media specialist with input from others who utilize the materials. it's I think if your library and your library center is small, then it's harder to make the policy, because there are so much responsibilities on just one specialist, and it's oftentimes those small libraries, small schools ask to work together to make the policies. Some I didn't do, but because my area is not the school media track, but my colleague who had school media area, she participated in the school system, school district, the center, the media center, and participate in making revise the policy statement in the library, and it's because I think if one person make the policy, can be some bias, although there is a process, approving process, but still it's better to consult others, um, uh, research as many as you can do. Okay. The district level policies that relate to the media center must be considered and followed, and also the policies should go through an approval process, right? And all policies and procedures should be organized in written format, so that consistency can be maintained and a clear understanding of collection activities and the media center program is available. The policies and procedures should be regularly reviewed for possible revisions, right, to make certain they are meeting the mission and goals of the media center. So again, I referred to the this book, Dr. Bishop's The Collection Program in Schools. Okay, I hope it was helpful for you to understand the making a policy statement on a library. Thank you for listening.